Welcome to Modern Management of the Older Adult, brought to you by the Institute of Clinical Excellence.
Welcome to the Older Adult Podcast, the MMOA podcast brought to you by the Institute of Clinical Excellence. My name is Ellen Seppi. I'm a doctor of physical therapy, and I love hosting this podcast because we talk about all things older adult. Today, we're going to really test the limits of what all things older adult really mean. This podcast is definitely directed towards rehab professionals, and we often talk about strength training, exercise, but today we're going to talk about something that is definitely important for older adults, but has nothing to do with fitness. We're going to talk about seniors and scams, because unfortunately in 2022, over $3 billion was stolen from American seniors by scammers. And as healthcare professionals, we should definitely know about this. So today's podcast, we're going to talk all about scammers, what kind of scams are very common for seniors to fall towards, why seniors are targets for scammers, and what we can do as physical therapists about it. So this is definitely a topic that I care about. I've had several of my patients almost fall or definitely fall for scams and shared with me about it. And even my sister, who's 30 years old, fell victim to a scam. She got a text message that said, "Act now, you have a balance for a toll road." And she freaked out, paid the bill, and then noticed there's some unusual charges on her credit card. That was a scam. She ended up having to cancel that credit card and figure out how to rectify that issue with your financial institution. Our workplace where I work, the CEO of our company noticed that somebody had impersonated her and sent out instructions to one of our coworkers to go to an Apple store and buy a bunch of Apple cards and pay with them and to give to an alleged scammer using her name and a false email address, impersonating our CEO. So scammers are smart, and these scams are everywhere. If you stay with me to the end of this podcast, I'll give you a little quick tip from my dad on how to handle scammers. But honestly, scammers are everywhere, and seniors are definitely targets for these scammers for several different reasons. They're often polite and trusting. They own their own home, have good credit, and are financially stable. So this makes them very, very susceptible to scammers. So there are a lot of different scams that seniors often fall to. There's a recent movie about this. I think it's called The Beehive or something like that. I'll look it up or post it in the comments. But, the former FBI director, William Webster, a 98-year-old retired official, fell victim to this scam system and a senior scam, and posted on the FBI page that this is a growing problem. And if he can fall for it, anybody can. So this is really, really important. And anybody can fall for a scam, regardless of their age. But common elder fraud schemes or scams, there are a few that really emphasize, a sense of urgency. Pay now. I'm in distress. You're going to be arrested. I'm going to report you. So that is the common theme that we need to really look for a lot of these elder schemes. There are often tech support scam. You are in danger of your computer getting hacked. Grandparent scams. This is your granddaughter. I'm in distress. I'm arrested. Please help me. I need you to send money right now. Government impersonation scams. People saying you're behind on your taxes. You need to pay right now or you're going to be sent to authorities. A lot of scammers will impersonate legitimate charities, sweepstakes or lotteries, saying you've won all this money. All you need to do is pay this account a nominal fee and then you can get it. And of course, it's nonsense. I've had several patients get not scammed, but taken advantage of by home repair services. And these people will offer home repairs that really aren't necessary in efforts to try and take advantage of this unsuspecting senior. Home repair scammers could potentially come to your house, say, oh yeah, I can do this job for you for really, really cheap, and then never show up and take money. So TV and radio scams, they'll use illegitimate advertisements about legitimate services such as reverse mortgages or credit repair and scam people off. The saddest one in my book is the romance scam. So a lot of criminals will pose as, as people interested in romance and take advantage of these elders' desires to find companions and friendship. I have a patient who unfortunately fell victim to a romance scam, and it was kind of easy to see. This person is a retired adult film star working in Nigeria and just needs $2,000 to come back to the United States. I think it's really easy for us to see, but that's a scam. But a lot of seniors, if they're older and feeling lonely, that is opportunity for a scammer to take them and really manipulate their emotions to feel like they're loved, which is just devastating to me. So how do we talk about this with our patients? First thing is to really just talk about it. And you can say, I had a patient who fell victim to X, Y, and Z scam. I had a friend who fell victim to the scam. Have you had any of these scammers affront you? And talk about what it looks like. Another thing to really equip our patients for as rehab providers is to be able to spot a scam and really see that there are illegitimacies and a sense of urgency. So this sense that, you have to act right now or you're going to miss out. You're going to be arrested. You're going to be in trouble. I'm going to be in trouble. This sense of urgency is the very common theme for all of these scams. So another quick thing to look out for. It's really important to know that these should be reported. I'm going to put in the comments of this Instagram video and in the summary of this podcast, the FBI page to report a scam, because a lot of these are underreported. People feel embarrassed when they get scammed, and seniors especially are worried that if they get scammed, it's a reflection of their ability to manage their finances. So seniors who get scammed are less likely to report it because they don't want to be embarrassed and potentially have their finances stripped from them. So knowing that we should be very aware of those things is really important for our patients. This is a way that we can prevent this from happening in the future. I talked with a patient of mine that I really cared about, and I actually strangely had a dream that he got taken advantage of and scammed. I talked about it with him, and he said, it's really interesting that you bring this up because I do have somebody who's acting interested in me, and I think it is a scam. It turns out it was exactly that. They were asking for money, and had we not talked about it, maybe he would have been taken advantage of. So I think, it's a small part of what we do, but if we can have an open conversation about this, we could potentially save our patients thousands of dollars. I had another patient who was talking with me openly about this, and her brother gave almost his life savings away in a scam and was financially destitute because of this, and was very embarrassed about it, and obviously this isn't going to be a poster child for being taken advantage of because it makes you feel foolish. So quick tip from my dad, who gets scam calls often. And, as somebody who's a working professional, I have no time to answer phone calls. So when I get a phone call and it looks suspicious, I'll just ignore it. But my dad has some free time on his hands, and he said, quick tip, it's not verbal assault to tell off these scammers if they call you. So you can let them have it. If you think that this is a scam and you want to give them a piece of your mind, you can just let her rip and come up with some pretty awful things to say to these people because they really deserve it. These are criminals and scammers, and the United States government is trying really hard to crack down on it, but These new scams are always popping up and taking advantage of our most vulnerable citizens who are older adults. And so I'm really thankful that we can link arms to help prevent our patients and the people that we care about in our lives from being ripped off by dirty, no good scammers. So thank you very much for joining me on this one-off podcast. I hope that you can hopefully have some of these conversations with your patients to know how to keep them from getting scammed.
Thank you for listening to the MMOA podcast. If you found this helpful, please share with someone that could benefit. And if you're looking for more practical content to help you better serve older adults, head over to www.mmoa.online, where you can learn more about our free resources, our community, continuing education courses, and our certification. Once again, that's www.mmoa.online. Thanks for listening.